Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Josh, and today we are taking a look at a watch that I have been super interested in and that I really think could be the perfect watch for a lot of different people, and it is the new smaller 40mm Seiko 5. This one in particular is the SRPE51, and I've got mine on a really quite nice Uncle Seiko Jubilee bracelet, and we'll talk about that a little bit more as well. Now, before we get into design, I wanted to touch really quickly on just why I've been so interested in this particular watch or this series of watch. Now, as some of you guys know, I love budget watches because watches like this to me really make the democratization of quality timepieces real in that they make a good watch accessible to just about everyone. And I know a lot of you out there will turn your noses up at it because it's just a Seiko 5, it doesn't have a prestigious name, it's not got some high-tech movement or anything like that, but that's just not the point here. The point of the Seiko 5 line has always been to offer a solidly built, highly reliable, very respectable watch to anyone and everyone. And to me, that's a pretty admirable approach in an industry that can be incredibly exclusive and very elitist. And what specifically to me is so great about this new 40mm series is that now there's a 5 that's just going to work better for most people. You know, Seiko has a really bad habit of making very big, very chunky, very heavy, kind of unwieldy type sports watches if you look at the rest of the Prospex range, for example. And so it's really nice to see that these guys are 40mm, and they're also relatively light at anywhere between 75 and 140 grams depending on the strap and bracelet and things like that. And just based on the number of comments that I get on this subject, I think a lot of people are really going to be happy with these guys. Now, in terms of design, I think this guy is really nicely done. It's not overly ornate or overly decorated the way a lot of cheap watches are, and it's got this almost austere, very restrained design that actually reminds me a lot of Tudor specifically. When I was looking at which one of these new series I wanted to pick up, I was actually leaning toward the SRPE60, which is a mixed finish. It's got gold and silver on it because of its almost uncanny resemblance to one of the Tudor Black Bay series, and I'll put that on screen here. The reason I ended up not going with that is I'm really not a gold type guy, and so I ended up going with the 61, which is this guy here, which has the beautiful anthracite sunray dial, and I'm actually really happy with it. This is definitely a watch to me that looks like you spent a lot more than you actually did. Something very specific that I like about this new series as opposed to the 5KX series is that we lose the bezel here. Now, I never really understood why there was a bezel on these guys, given that they aren't true divers. Both the 40 and 42mm series are only rated to 100 meters of water resistance, and they don't have all the sealing and the protection and the engineering that goes into the Prospex line. And so the dive bezel has always seemed kind of irrelevant. It's really just there for looks. So I think losing the bezel on the 40mm series, but keeping the classic Seiko sport style is really honesty in design. And I really like that about it. Fit and finish and material quality here is also excellent. This is really on par with a lot of the low-end Prospex models. Again, you're giving up the water resistance, and I think that's the difference in price between one of those and one of these. But in every other way, these guys feel just as well made as any of the Prospex. You've got the same kind of fit and finish, you've got the same Hardlex crystal over top, you've actually got an exhibition case back on these guys because, again, we don't need that water resistance, and everything else, the hands, the indices, the dial, they look great to the eye. There's no big qualms with quality here, in my opinion. And especially when we look at these guys side by side with an older Seiko 5, the older Seiko 5s were already a standard bearer for quality and fit and finish in this class. The new 5 line as a whole also used Seiko's forearm movement, which is a big upgrade over the old 5s, which all used the 7S movement. The 4R is not the most accurate, as many of you know, but it's incredibly reliable. It'll run forever. Even if you don't service this guy properly, I think you'll get a lot of years of good use out of it. And again, that's the same movement that's found in a lot of the low-end Prospex models, my $600 King Samurai included, and this watch is 1/3 that King Samurai's price. So that's pretty impressive if you ask me. Now, just like with many lower-end Seiko watches, you are going to want to change out the bracelet as soon as you get it. And because of Seiko's cult following, there are actually a lot of great options out there, some with curved end links to custom fit these cases. This one happens to come from Uncle Seiko, and this is not sponsored. It is a really nice Jubilee on a budget. It's got solid pieces here, unlike the stock Seiko Jubilees, and it drapes really, really beautifully. It's super light, but feels really well made, and Jubilees in general are very comfortable to wear. My only two dislikes here have to do with some of the ways that Uncle Seiko kept the price down. So here we have hollow lug ends and a stamped butterfly clasp, but I can forgive it for both of those because I got it on Black Friday for $50. Okay guys, quick update from the flight deck here. Just after I finished filming and editing this whole video, Strapcode released an almost identical Jubilee bracelet for the new 40mm 5s, and at $69.99, it's exactly the same price as Uncle Seiko's, but as you guys might know, Strapcode's quality is just worlds better even than the already great quality from Uncle Seiko. I have at least 5 of these guys. I've got one on my new King Samurai. I have a video on that. I'll link everything here below, and I think the end result on any of those new 5s with the Strapcode bracelet would just be incredible, and of course you'll find a link in the description below. If you don't want to go with a bracelet, the 40mm series to my eye looks really good on leather straps as well, which opens up infinite possibilities, especially because this guy has standard 20mm lugs. So you can get a lot of really nice leather straps out there depending on what case you get, and you can find a good leather strap for about $50, so again, not a big investment on top of the watch itself. And since we're already talking about that, let's talk about price, because that's really where this guy shines. Retail prices range from about $275 to $350 US. This one in particular is $275 at retail on a nylon strap. And that to me is a steal, because that's not much more than a fashion quartz watch from somebody like Fossil or Michael Kors. And then on top of that, you have to factor in sales and discounts, especially this year when retail is hurting. And so you guys can find these, I think, at a really nice discount, especially if you're here in the United States. I got mine from Macy's on Black Friday for $176 US, which is about, I think, 35% or so off. So even with this bracelet, I was comfortably under $250 all in. And check out my video on why I love buying watches from Macy's if you want all the details, but like many purchases I've made from them, it was shipped directly from Seiko, which means I got it factory fresh, brand new. It never passed through the stores, it never passed through anybody else's hands, and that just made the deal all that much better. So all things considered, if you're watching this anytime around when I'm uploading it, which is early December 2020, so just as we're getting into the Christmas shopping season, think of this as the ultimate stocking stuffer, because this is really a perfect watch for a lot of different people out there. For the high school or college student, maybe living in a dorm or something like that, or the watch enthusiast just starting out, this would make a fabulous daily beater. And for those of us with far more expensive watches, these are great to have for those times when you don't want to have something expensive on your wrist. You know, I've lived in a few cities, in a few city centers, where you just don't want to be wearing a Rolex or an Omega on public transit, especially if you're by yourself at night. And any of these new 40mm 5 models would be a fantastic addition to your collection if you don't already have something like that. So that's all I've got for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching another video. I really appreciate it. As we go into the holiday season, I just wanted to express my gratitude to all of you out there for watching, for participating, for commenting, for talking to me, and for sharing all the opinions about these things that we all love. It just makes my life so much more fun and more interesting to have this channel and have all of you along for the ride. I really appreciate it. Thank you guys so much. Questions, comments, leave them downstairs. I will talk to you guys soon. Whatever you celebrate this holiday season, I hope you have a wonderful one with whoever you can be with safely. Stay happy, stay warm, stay safe, and I will talk to you guys soon. Take care.